Because they were tasing him, and look at the name of this account. This was set up by Tavia. She was the one that was following first, like always, just like she set up an account the other day, using my name, saying, trying to basically claim that she was me. She was basically the only one following the account, and then she was following back, chasing pillows and 3 of her other accounts. So clearly it was her. She made several videos where they're basically trying to use a victim of police brutality to get back at me. Now, again, keep in mind, at the end of the day, James Barnes is the victim of police brutality that I'm talking about. He did not do anything to anybody. He was taken out of this world in 2012, well before TikTok was even around. In fact, he was taken out of this world almost, just for reference of time, almost exactly 3 weeks after Trayvon Martin. It was like 1 day short of the 3 weeks after that, just for a reference of time frames. Also in Florida, also by an officer, the case was found to be a homicide. That's why the officer was taken off of his duty from the job he had. But because it's Florida, and the autopsy says homicide due to complications of asphyxia and blunt trauma, trigger warning. But the officer was able to get rehired somewhere else, and he was never prosecuted. So the family had a civil suit. They won because the officers in the city and the county and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, they were all in the wrong. Like, they violated his First Amendment rights, his human rights. They didn't even try to save him after they took him out of this world. Somebody else did, an off-duty fire marshal. If you guys don't mind, tap the screen and share the live out to keep it up. But Tavia, Jenny Torres, Cuban Delight, Rabbi, Casey Camden, they all like to use simply Nikki, Nicole, Tiffany Deanna or Nicole Reinwart, Van Wart from Canada. They all love to use this victim of police brutality as a way of trying to get back at me. Again, he is the victim of police brutality. How do you say you stand against police brutality when you're using a victim in your fight against me? Fight me alone. Like, you have an issue with me. Why do you have to get all your friends involved? That just shows me that you think I'm more powerful than I think I am. That shows me that you're weak if you're using a victim of police brutality as your weapon. I mean, to the point where Jenny Torres has made videos of the victim singing next to the officer that took him out of this world. She also was posting pictures of my great nephew after he had surgery to his brain. So, hey, love. So this is what I woke up to this morning. This account was following all of mine, right? Just like the other day when I woke up and there was an account, I am Joe Diljulio. That's the name of the account. So, like, they were trying to say they were me. So if you guys can share this live out, tap the screen to try and keep it up. I don't want gifts. I don't need you guys to spend your money on me. TikTok takes most of that anyway. So when these are people that are seeking me out. Now, Cuban Delight is obviously stalking the shit out of me because she's posting my lives on her YouTube, accusing me of being RASICST when she's actually probably one of the biggest ones out here when she's white, pretending that she's not. She's going after a Native man and saying that he needs to show her receipts while he's calling her out for his community about the elders that she's harassing, and she's wanting to know which elders. And he was like, I'm not telling you because she'll just harass them more, and he knows that. But yet she won't provide receipts of her claim that she's Native. She literally told him, I'm Native. That's what she said. So I'm like, okay, well, how come she's allowed to ask him, who's clearly, like, you could tell looking at him that he's a Native man? It's actually on her page. I think it's called Cuban is Royalty. I don't know his name. I've seen him a couple of times, and I'm not good with remembering off the top of my head. But oh yeah, she says that she literally says in the video, it's on her own page, and she's being super disrespectful to him. She's being super disrespectful to him and calling him a punk and all kinds of stuff. And she evidently went into his live and she says, I'm Native. She just like aggressive, like she always is, right? Cuban Delight's super freaking aggressive. But yet she won't supply proof of her claims. She wants everybody else to provide receipts, but then when you go to her, I don't need to provide receipts. I'm Cuban motherfucking Delight. Like, anybody cares. You're nobody off of this app, and you're nobody on this app, actually. Like, you're literally nobody. You stalk and harass people for fun, and you act like you're tough, when you're really not. Just like Tavia trying to act tough when she created this account using a victim of police brutality and trying to claim that I was doxing her when she was actually doxing me the other day. I've asked Tavia to bring the receipts and show where I was doxing her because she can't. But I can bring receipts and show where she was doxing me because she was the only one that was actually following that account, or she was following her other 3 accounts and chasing pillows. I don't know why she chose chasing pillows. I don't really know much about chasing pillows. But this started again with Uni Urviata, the gay anti-racist, a little over 2 years ago, and he was asking everybody to come after me, and he was making up all these stories. Uni is a blatant liar. I've got a screenshot of Uni where he doxed me after I bought a Black Lives Matter t-shirt from him, and I sent him a copy of the shipping label because I got the wrong t-shirt. He did a reverse search, and he used that information to basically dox me with the business transaction from when I bought that Black Lives Matter t-shirt from him. So just not safe people. You got to be really careful about who you buy things from on here and who you trust and who you share your information with. People are not safe. Like Cuban Delight, anybody in the fold, I would think, is not safe, to be honest. I wouldn't trust any of them as far as I can throw them. Lady Guinevere 75, who has almost 1 million followers. Heather DeGroy, look up her Port St. Lucie County public records in the court records. You could do a search by name, Degruy. Heather, first name. Lynn, middle name. She was born in 75. That's why the 75 is in her name. I know she looks a lot older, but she was born in 1975. She sent emails to James's aunt, the one who witnessed him being taken out of this world on the beach that day. I'm going to read those emails since she tries to keep them quiet. Now, she reached out to his aunt on James's birthday. Not only that, but she had filed a no contact order against me prior to this. So she was actually doing something illegal by contacting people that I knew. After she filed a no contact order against me, she wasn't supposed to be contacting anybody I knew, and vice versa. I wasn't contacting anybody she knew, but she reached out to James's aunt June 27th, 2022, on his birthday. James was born on June 27th, 1974, and she reached out to him. Hello, Paula, my name is Gwen, and I've been searching, trying to find you. It is extremely important. Gwen, what was so important that she had to bother this family member of a victim of police brutality who witnessed? She was the only family member that actually witnessed it firsthand. Happened right in front of her. And Gwen, Lady Guinevere 75 is reaching out saying it's extremely important that she must speak with her, right? 8:07 p.m. She reaches out to her on James's birthday. She gets a response the next day that says, I gave you the opportunity to tell me what you want, yet you are not explaining what it is you want. Therefore, you need to tell me what you want, or I will also block you via email as well. You obviously know who you're speaking with, so explain what you want, otherwise I will block you again. This is from Aunt Paula. Do you hear these words? She's saying, I will block you again. In other words, she already blocked Gwen once. She already blocked Heather DeGroy once via Facebook or some other way that she tried to contact her. And now Gwen was so desperate, she reached out to her again via email. What is so important, right? So then it goes on. Gwen reached out. Let's see. I have to put these in order. Okay. So then the following day, 3:10 p.m. And by the way, Paula's response was the following day on June 28th at 11:28 p.m. Dear Paula, I responded to you, but I type slow. I'm so sorry. I'm a social media content creator, and I'm being harassed by a man named Joe Diljulio, who is demanding that I cover your nephew's story in what he claims is an effort to seek justice, in quotes. First of all, I wasn't demanding shit from her. I hadn't asked her to cover the story in over a year. So this is all fabricated bullshit. Nobody was demanding shit of her. She can't bring receipts on that because it wasn't happening. She wasn't being harassed. She was being spoken about online. She was having the truth told on her, and her weak little white woman feelings couldn't handle it. That's the truth. Then she goes on to say, I explained to this man that I, however, never, in capital letters, never cover a story unless the family confirms and allows it. That's bullshit, by the way. You can look at her content, and I guarantee you she does not always check with the family. And she said, this was not good enough answer, and now he is attacking me and harassing me. This is all fabricated bullshit. Again, she has no proof, no receipts on this. This is just her way of being manipulative by trying to get Aunt Paula to feel sorry for her. So she's claiming that I'm harassing her. Now, police from my county, from her county, and a judge have told her, no, this man's not harassing you. This man's not harassing you. But she can't accept that as an answer, right? Then she says, with nothing but respect, my question is the family currently wishing to seek justice for James? Manipulative as fuck. Okay, now, so Paula goes on to say at 3:35 p.m., Gwen, I am so sorry. People these days say they want to speak with you, and they're usually selling something. Joe was my nephew's former boyfriend, and he is the only one still seeking justice for James. This is true. I was James's former boyfriend before I was his best friend, but James and I were best friends longer than we were ex-boyfriends. We were broken up for about 13 years, almost 13 years, over 12 years, from 1999 until he was taken out of this world in March 12th, 2012, right? So Paula goes on to say, none of us are happy that no charges were ever filed against the officers involved, but we have come to realize that justice will not be served here on this earth for them. It is between them and God now. Then she goes on to say, and I'll explain this part. She goes on to say, Joe has harassed all of us for many years. All I can say is you may need to block or press charges to get him to leave you alone. Again, I'm sorry I wasn't more patient with you. Unfortunately, so many have nefarious intentions these days. Now, I've tried to reach out to Paula because I've never harassed them, but Uni and Nona Mama contacted them, and you'll hear later, and you'll hear why this makes sense. Uni and Nona Mama contacted them and was dropping my names, and now Gwen is reaching out. So I feel like because of the amount of people that have reached out to them, that they're feeling like they are being harassed by other people on my behalf. That's what I feel, because I've never harassed them. The issue that I did have at one time on the Justice for James page on Facebook was James's brothers didn't like the fact that I was speaking up for Black Lives Matter and for people that were being killed by police that were black as well. So they had an issue with me for speaking up for Black Lives Matter. And you can see this if you go to the Justice for James Barnes page on Facebook. You can see, like, I would always speak up for any victims of police brutality, not just James. So since I set up that page, like, that was something I did, and they didn't like it. They didn't like it for their own personal reasons. And I was like, basically, too bad. James would absolutely speak up for people of color as well. As, you know, he was somebody that was on the right side of history, in my opinion. So to me, them trying to say, they literally were saying things to me like, you're making the Justice for James page a leftist agenda, and they didn't like that. And that was only his two brothers. His mom, I've got screenshots that Jenny Torres has actually seen. James's mom actually was very happy when I put out the video that I made, which is on YouTube. It's about 11 and a half minutes long. She cried, of course. I did too. It was very hard for me to make. But she was happy with it and said it was very well done. Looking back on it, that was like the first video I ever really made before I got on TikTok like that. And I feel like I could have done better, but for it being my first video, I feel like it was decent. It was an interview with the person that tried to save his life. But again, you know, I would love to talk to Aunt Paula. I haven't spoken with her in about 3 years, but I used to talk with her. The last message that I have from her on Facebook, she was telling me how she still has the wind chimes that I bought for her. I bought all the family wind chimes because James always loved wind chimes, and I bought all the family wind chimes after James's death, and when I went down to Florida, and she was telling me she still had them, and this was like a little over 3 years ago. So I don't know what that was about, other than she's feeling that I'm sending people to contact her, basically, which I'm not. They're doing it to get back at me. So then Gwen wrote back at 3:48 p.m., no need to apologize. I completely understand, and I will absolutely seek out a restraining order, which, again, she already had filed it, so she shouldn't have even been contacting anybody I knew. That's the fucked up part, is that she was actually breaking the law right there. Heather DeGroy, Lady Guinevere. Then she sends another message after that at 3:50, 2 minutes later. I am so sorry that he has harassed your family. I just knew something wasn't right with this situation. Again, I'm so sorry. Then Paula reaches back out to her and says, Gwen, thank you for your condolences. They are appreciated. What's so odd is that today is James's birthday. First of all, it's public record. James's birthday was June 27th. The fact that is, I'm sorry, I'm going to try and not, I'm just going to say James's birthday was actually June 27th, not June 28th, and his aunt should have known that. And then she said, and I'm sure she was, I'm sure this is true. She said, I was deeply affected by James's, I have to say unaliving on here, but she used the M word, since I witnessed it. And she did. She said she had to seek out counseling. I had to seek out counseling afterwards. Thankfully, the PTSD has subsided over the years. The 2 officers involved have never faced no charges, even though James's death was determined to be a homicide. Trigger warning, if you guys don't mind typing trigger warning in the comment section, please. I think this is and then she goes on to say, I think this is the most difficult part to deal with. See, and it's difficult for them to deal with too. Both are still in law enforcement. Both are still law enforcement officers in the area. In fact, one is captain now, the other is officer in Newport Richey, Florida. That's actually not true. The one that I think she's saying is captain was Kenneth Kubler. He was actually retired when I called 3 years ago and tried to get him included. They said to me, well, Kubler's retired. And I'm like, what doesn't matter? Hey, don't block Mucinex's ratchetness. That's my friend. Please don't block her. Don't block people just so easily. She's new. I know she's got like low followers, but please unblock Mucinex. Please unblock her if you can. That's my friend. That's ratchetness. She's good people. I need to see. Yeah, please don't block. Please don't block Mucinex. I'm removing it. Sorry, okay, if somebody could send this out to her, I'm going to send it out to her. Because, yeah, Mucinex, that's unleashed ratchetness. That's full destroy. That's ratchetness. She's good people. I'm going to send this out to her because I want her to be able to come in here. Mucinex. Oh, shoot. Can somebody send it to her? I can't even find her now. Ah, damn it. I just sent her a follow. Yeah, sorry. You're getting your moderation. I think I got her. Yeah, I know that's her because again they keep mass reporting everybody. I think they hate her more than they do me. Because she wants to box Denise. And Denise would rather like mass report a black woman than actually face her. That's the truth. So, okay, so getting back to this, she says the other officers in Newport Richey, that's Joe Tactic. He's in Port Richey at the Port Richey Police Department. In fact, Joe Tactic people must be reaching out to him because he changed his name on Facebook and Instagram. So he like gave himself a fictitious name, so he doesn't want to be found. He knows what he did. 3 years ago, Joe Tactic went private on Instagram when I was on his comment section, letting all his friends and family know exactly what type of person I thought he was. I wasn't afraid of an officer back then. I don't know why Cuban or Denise or Jenny or Tavia think that I would be afraid of them, or Casey Camden, who's like vanilla ice baby, white baby. I mean, geez, come on. Then she goes on to say, as I stated before, justice is not going to come from us this side of heaven, and forgiveness is what we have had to do in order to keep our sanity. That's fine. That's James's family's choice. I'm still going to seek justice for James. And if you look back again on the original Justice for James page, on Justice for James Barnes page on Facebook, scroll all the way back, you'll see where all his family members were also saying they would never give up on him because they knew James would never give up on them. I'm the only one, as Paula said, still seeking justice for James. I'm the only one sticking to my commitment for my friend, my best friend, who was like a brother to me when he was taken out of this world. Then she goes on to say, I don't believe my sister, James's mom, is able to seek anything further due to the lawsuit she won against his killers. So reaching her would not help at all. Joe, and listen to this, Joe probably told you to contact me because I am the only one who can talk about it and not have anything happen to them. Do you hear that? She says, Joe probably told you to contact me. So again, she thinks that all the people that are contacting her and dropping my name, that I'm telling them to contact her. No wonder she thinks I'm harassing them, because she thinks I'm sending these lunatics to them. These lunatics that are contacting the family members of a victim of police brutality. But they stand against police brutality, right? But they're going to harass the family members of the victim of police brutality, right? And then she says, also, I was the only witness in the family. They're literally contacting the only witness and harassing them. These are disgusting, sick people that do this type of stuff. Then she goes on to say, this ordeal has been very hard on the family, especially his brothers. James and his mother were very close, and so it has torn her poor heart out. She cries every year on the anniversary of his death and on his birthday. Again, thank you for being so kind and patient with me. That was from Mount Paula to Gwen, Heather DeGroy. So not realizing that Heather's like nefarious as fuck, and that Heather DeGroy is very manipulative and not being kind, right? So let's see, that's 7th. I had to put these in order because of the way she submitted these. It was very weird. Where's 8? Okay, so here, then let's see, then Gwen replies back, I'm so sorry if I confused you. Joe did not tell me to contact you. I got your information from a news article and then from the white pages because I did not want to just run with the story out of respect for you and your family. That's bullshit, because I asked Gwen to do the story over 2 years ago. This was last year. So why is she now making it seem like something completely different a year later? Like, she wasn't going to do the story. She wasn't going to do the story at all. She was in the process of, like, a legal case with me and wasn't even supposed to be legally reaching out to the family. Oh, hey, Ratchetness, I'm glad you got accidentally blocked. And I'm like, no, don't block Mucinex Matrix, or Mucinex Ratchetness. So, I'm glad you're back. So I'm talking about, this is the email that Heather DeGroy reached out to James's family with. She's a disgusting, Heather DeGroy is Lady Guinevere 75. She's a disgusting human being that did, one of the most disgusting things, like right up there with Jenny making videos of him singing next to the officer that took him out. So this is where Gwen goes on to say, listen to this. Now, here's her self-proclaimed bullshit, right? I am a social justice advocate. No, you're not. You're a white woman pretending that you're native, Gwen. You're Italian. You're Italian and you're pretending you're native. That's disgusting. She goes, I am a social justice advocate with a large following, and Joe has been harassing me nonstop to do a feature covering the case. Bring those receipts forward, Gwen. Bring those receipts forward, because that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I haven't asked you in like 2 years. And I was never harassing you. I asked you, and you chose to boost Uni's GoFundMe instead of doing something legit to help out a victim. Because she gives a shit about victims. She cares more about attention. She said, this strange stalking type behavior has prompted me to realize that there's something very wrong here, and there was way more to this. When he first approached me about it, he claimed he was James's fiance, which is bullshit, because when James and I were together, gay marriage wasn't legal back then. So that's a big ass lie. I never said James was my fiance. We were together about 5.5 years. Like, we were partners, but then we broke up and we stayed best friends afterwards. She said, then his boyfriend, and when I started digging, I realized James had ended the relationship until upon us finding out, he had again changed the story so that